Thank you. It's great for me to have such a great opportunity. First of all, I would like to give my deep thanks to the organizing committee for giving such a significant and valuable opportunity. As I have been introduced by Ms. Chairperson, my academic major is environmental sociology. Maybe most of you very unfamiliar terminology, environmental sociology. In a word, environmental sociology is a science approaching to nature, in other words, environment, from social science perspective. So, in a word, environmental sociology is focusing on the mutual relationship between nature and the human socio-economic system. So today, the topics I would like to present is human impact on natural environment and its implications. As all of us know, the environmental problem is a very risky factors determining the human way of life. So as we know, in agricultural society, no environmental problem. Nature could enjoy their original quality as it is. However, after the industrialization, which was promoted since 18th century, about 300 years ago, the nature started to be polluted or destroyed by human activities. In such a context, I would like to present human impact on natural environment and its implications. So, next, yeah. Oh. Oh, so here's small map, South Korea and Japan. I am from Jeju. This is an island located between South Korea and Japan. This is the whole outline I would like to present. The main topic is on part three, human impact on natural environment. Okay, uh, and the next one is the implications. Its implications. So the first part one and two. This is just for introducing what we are on the earth and the importance of nature on humans. All right. Then first, where are humans positioned on the earth? This will be composed of two sectors. One is the structure of ecosystem. The other one is the historical process of human civilization. Here, I have very summarized diagram, the structure of ecosystem. As you can see here, solar energy and the sea and the land. In other sense, everything exists between sky and land. All right. Then there are so many things between sky and land, and the things under the sky can be classified into two categories. One is organic world, the other one is non-organic world. For example, water, climate, wind, air, they belong to non-organic world. But organic world, we have so many things, plant, humans, lion, bacteria, so many things. So look at the organic world. According to scientific findings, there are 2.5 million species in the organic world. We humans, I think, is one of the 2.5 billion species. Then the 2.5 billion species, they can be classified into broadly four categories. One is produced The other one is first consumer. Then the next one is the second and the third consumers and the discomposers. So, for example, the produce plant belong to producers. So, but the first consumer, for example, the deer, and the second consumer, lion, and the third consumer, we humans belong to third consumer because we eat plant and the meat. Then the last one is decomposer computers. So, for example, bacteria, all right, if we pollute a soil, then the computers can make clear. So, 2.5 billion species, nothing exists independently. All of them are in a process of mechanism interacting with each other. So we call such a system mutual dependence, symbiosis, competition, food chain, like that. So the mutual dependence, this is termed ecological process. Okay, then in the agricultural society 300 years ago, this organic world, they enjoyed the original quality as they exist. However, when we promoted industrialization 300 years ago, then we humans as a third consumer put so many strange things into the organic world. So at the moment, the organic world is being polluted or destroyed. So we call such a status of organic world, we call it environmental problem. In other sense, environmental problem is a crisis of nature because their original status is already polluted, destroyed. Then if the crisis of nature and as it is, we don't need to worry about the nature. However, as we know, nature can exist without the humans. However, we humans cannot survive without nature. Therefore, the crisis of nature is linked to the crisis of human existence. Okay, so I think we humans is very, very naughty because we started to destroy, polluted the original quality of nature under the name of industrialization. Why we have promoted industrialization? For improving material affluence and convenience in everyday life. Then this is the historical process of human civilization 3 million years ago. Then, as we know, our civilization has been promoted hunting-gathering society, next agricultural society, and industrial society. At the moment, periodically, the current society belongs to industrial society. However, compared to the industrial society between 300 years ago and at the moment, very, very different. Therefore, we classify the industrial society into two stages. The traditional industrial society, and at the moment we call information society, in that sense, post-industrial society. Why we can classify such four stages of human civilization? The reason is very simple. The four stages of human civilization just through 3 billion years, they have different structural profiles. For example, way of life was totally different among human hunting, gathering society, agricultural, industrial society. Also, the base of production and the relationship between nature and the humans, and the unit of social relationship and the human relationship, and the material affluence, convenience in everyday life. So this is a very summarized profile in terms of the difference among 4 stages of human civilization. So the crisis of nature started from industrial society 300 years ago. Now, then, nature is a very, very important factor determining human life. Okay, this means human life is determined by nature. So the example is ecosystem service and the mode of human existence by, all right. Then ecosystem service, this means, look here, then all components of nature provide so many things to human. This means we humans cannot survive without nature. So what we can get from nature, this is ecosystem service. Then the ecosystem services has 4 categories. One is provisioning services. For example, we provide from nature air, water, food, energy. Without air, water, food, energy, and so on, we humans cannot survive. So the first category of ecosystem service is provisioning service. The second one, regulating service. For example, if the temperature on the earth is 100 degrees, we cannot survive. We humans cannot survive. However, the nature regulate the climate mediation while circulating energy and the treatment of pollution and waste. This is called regulating services. Then third category of ecosystem service is supporting services. For example, the agriculture, factory, housing, we need lots of site for doing those things. So without the site from nature, we cannot do agriculture, we cannot construct a house like that, and cultural services. So without those 4 categories of ecosystem service, we cannot survive. In the agricultural society before 300 years ago, the original quality of ecosystem services were provided to humans. However, we humans have polluted and destroyed the original quality of nature. Therefore, at the moment, we cannot get the original quality of for ecosystem services. This is the crisis of nature, and it is linked to crisis of human existence on the world, on the earth. Then, an example, what component of nature determines the mode of human existence? For example, topography. According to the topography, we have different way of life by country. Okay, each country has different topography, even though in the same country the topographic profile is different by region. So the topography is very, very important factor determining the mode of human existence. Just another example is water, okay? No life can survive without water. So human civilization began around river. In agricultural society, for example, management of forest and water was the base of maintaining political power. In industrial society, water is a cause of conflict between region and country. So, according to how, how much water is fluent, that is a very, very important factor determining the way of human life. Yeah. Okay. Another example, climate, as we know, that is a factor determining economic sector, social sector, political sector, even structure of human body is different by the climate. And another example, so those are just an example, the effect of nature on humans. Then next, we human also impact on the nature. So this is an emergence of environmental problems, as I've explained. Then first one, I would like to suggest the mechanism of nature being polluted and destroyed by human activities. We can see here on left side, nature. Right side, we humans. In agricultural society 300 years ago, we humans had a direct interaction with nature. There was no intervening variable between nature and humans. For example, we humans extract apple from nature. Okay. Then in the process of extracting apple, then the nature will be impacted, polluted, or destroyed. This is called material source pollution, okay? Resource extract material. Then we consume the apple. Then we discharge the apple skin. Then the apple skin is a waste. So the waste is discharged to the waste discharged by human activity is returned to nature. In this sense, nature provides at least two things to humans. One is resource, which is necessary for human survival. The other one is to accept the waste discharge. So in agricultural society, the total amount of resources we human had extracted was very, very minor. Therefore, nature has enough capacity to provide resource to humans. And also, the wastes discharged by human activities it was very, very minor. So even though the wastes are discharged to nature, nature could enjoy their original quality of life because the total amount of waste discharged by humans was very, very minor factor on nature. Therefore, nature could enjoy their original quality. Therefore, we humans could get environmental services from nature. For example, fresh water, fresh air, soil is not polluted. Landscape not destroyed like that. So, nature has no problem. However, humans in 300 years ago, economically, they were very, very poor and also very, very inconvenient in everyday life. No car, no telephone. Okay. So, in order to overcome such a low level of material affluence and inconvenience in everyday life, we humans started promoting industrialization. Okay. Then what happened after we promote industrialization? What happened to nature? For example, we launched a factory between nature and the humans. Okay. Then we extract the apple from nature. Then material source of pollution. Then the apple is produced as a canned juice. In the process of producing cane juice, lots of liquid or solid, lots of wastes are discharged. This is called processing pollution. In agricultural society, we didn't have processing pollution. Then this is waste, okay. Then the cane juice is distributed to humans for consumption. Then the car emit lots of pollution. This is a distribution pollution. Then we humans discharge not the apple skin, but we discharge cane. Then what happened to the nature? Okay, then here we get processing pollution and this waste discharged from human activities. They are all together returned to nature. Then what is happening to nature? Nature, in terms of its resource, then started to be depleted. No more resources to provide the humans, and the capacity to observe the discharge, the wastes. Then this was over carrying capacity of the. So then the environmental service, water is polluted. Now we have to buy. Air is polluted. Soil is polluted. So we cannot get the ecosystem service as its original quality. So we can see here the keeping, enjoying the original quality of nature. This is very, very proportional to improvement of material affluence and convenience in everyday life. This means keeping the nature as it is and improvement material affluence are in a conflict. So we got a result that we improvement material affluence that's very successful. However, nature is faced with crisis. Okay, this is the mechanism of nature being polluted and destroyed by human activities. Then we have some indicators how much the original quality of nature is polluted or destroyed. We have two indicators. One is individual indicator. The other one is synthetic indicator. All right. Then individual indicator has two different indicators. One is polluted, how much the nature, original quality of nature is polluted. The other one is how much the original quality of nature is destroyed. Okay. For example, in terms of pollution, then water, this water is polluted 5 ppm, 10 ppm, like that. Okay. Then the level of pollution and the pollutant different by country and region in a country. Okay. Then destruction. This is an indicator, individual indicator. For example, category of destruction: forest, how much forest, how much hectare forests were destroyed, and how many biospecies were in extinct, biodiversity, ecosystem, climate. Okay, those are the indicators, individual indicators in terms of destruction. However, when we measure the synthetic indicator, this is we call carrying capacity of nature. So the carrying capacity of nature here, look at the diagram again. The nature, there are many ecosystem services for category. However, in a word, they can be synthesized into two categories. One is the capacity to provide resources. Okay. The other one is the capacity to treat the waste discharged humans. So in agricultural society, the capacity to provide resources were good enough because we humans could extract very minor resources from, and also the waste discharged by humans was very minor. So the nature could not be polluted, destroyed by the total amount of wastes discharged by humans, because the wastes discharged by humans was very minor. So in agricultural society, then our human activities exceeded the carrying capacity of resource. And also, the waste discharge was also exceeded. So the synthetic indicate saying again the concept of carrying capacity to provide the humans with resources, capacity to observe the wastes discharged by humans. So in 2000, then World Resource Institute, which is an agent of United Nations, has conducted a research on carrying capacity of nature in 2000, okay, at the global level. Then the conclusion was 2.5 times exceeded. This means, for example, we have a boat, then each boat has limited number of passengers. For example, this boat 100, all right. So the exceeded by 2.5 times. This means we 250 passengers on the boat, which has the limited number of passengers is 100. Okay. Then I have used this model for analyzing the carrying capacity of South Korea in 2003, and South Korea was exceeded by 9.5 times. Okay. All right. Then, how to solve to exceed the carrying capacity? I have published a book titled Environmental Sociology. I have suggested some ideas to solve the exceeded carrying capacity. My first suggestion was we have to find a planet that all conditions are the same as the Earth, and size is 2.5 times bigger than the Earth. So the all conditions is not the same as the Earth. We humans cannot survive on the planet. So find such a planet. So my conclusion was not possible because we do not know whether such a planet is available in our universe. Okay, even though there is such a planet in the universe, we cannot find. Okay, even though we can find such a planet, we have no idea how to migrate all the population to the planet. So impossible. Then I suggested the second solution. We have to expand the size of the Earth 2 times bigger than the current Earth size. This is not possible. We cannot make our Earth its size bigger than 2.5 times. All right. Then we have to return our eyes to our Earth. So I suggested we have to reduce 1/3 of current production, okay? So if we reduce 1/3 of current production, then here, extraction of resource will be reduced by 1/3. Then automatically, wastes discharged by human activities also will be reduced by 1/3. Then nature can be returned to original quality. Then we can get the original quality of environmental services. However, what did happen to human life? Then our material affluence should be reduced at the low level, and the convenience is also reduced. Therefore, then we have to, if we reduce our production by 1/3, our way of life will be like that. We have to keep up mobile phone. We have to use the phone, the fixed phone line at home. We have to keep up private passenger car. We have to use bus, the public transportation. Then, do you think this is possible? We can expect such a way of life. We can expect from humans. My conclusion was no, because according to the historical review, if we humans are orientated to higher level, we cannot return to the low level. If we return to the lower level, we feel very, very inconvenient. For example, if I'm a candidate of a president in South Korea, all right, then I argue, please vote for me. If I am elected as the president, I will reduce South Korean economic production by 1/3 for saving the earth. Would you like to vote me? We cannot expect. So this is also not possible. Then another one was, I suggested, if we kill 2 billion population on the earth, then automatically the production output will be reduced 1/3. Then this is not also possible, because who should be killed for saving the earth? Then what will happen to the earth? Then the earth continues voyage with 2.5 times more passengers than carrying capacity, then will be sunk into the sea in 200 years ago. The example, for example, out of the I said here 2.5 billion species in the organic world. Then out of the 2.5 billion organic species, about United Nations, just IPCC suggested 20 or 30% species will be distincted. Then we humans also, if this amount of species are extinct, this ecosystem cannot exist. Then ecosystem will be totally destroyed. Totally destroyed, all right? Okay. Then we have to review the implication of polluted, destructed nature as a concluding remark, all right? Then, okay, reviewing implication of industrialization. Do you think industrialization is successful? I think yes, in terms of material improvement of material affluence and convenience in everyday life. However, I think industrialization has two different phases. For example, improvement material affluence and convenience in life. Okay, this is very successful. Industrialization has achieved. However, in order to improve material affluence and convenience in life, as I have explained before, we had to extract lots of natural resources. This means the material affluence was achieved on the basis of increase in extraction of natural resource. So, and again, increase in emission of wastes. So these two, in the process of improving material affluence, then the earth was faced with excess of carrying capacity. Then excess of carrying capacity resulted in pollution, destruction of original quality of nature. This is the crisis of nature. Then, as I have said before, nature can exist without the humans. However, we humans cannot survive without nature. Therefore, crisis of nature is linked to the crisis of human. Okay. Then we have to look at the two phases of industrialization. Then one is beneficiaries, material affluence and convenience. However, we are losing the original quality of nature, which is our house. Then industrialization has two phases. One is we humans, one is beneficiaries from industrialization. The other one is victims of industrialization. I think this is a self-contradiction. Therefore, we achieved material affluence. However, we are losing our house. This is definitely, I think, we have committed a self-contradiction. Self-contradiction. So, in order to solve the self-contradiction, as we know, United Nations had launched a concept, sustainable development in 1998. Okay, as we know, the framework of sustainable development is composed of three factors. One is economic, the other one is environment, nature, another one is society. Okay, then United Nations has set up different goals by the three factors. Economic, this is a development, okay, goal. Nature, conservation, society, overcoming poverty. All right, then United Nations argue the three components are equally important, and also the three goals are equally important. This means the horizontal perspective, three goals. Then equally important, economic and environmental and society. However, when we look at the goals of the three sectors, they are in a conflict. For example, in order to achieve the goal of economic development, then this is automatically linked to the pollution and the destruction of nature. This is a conflict, okay? Therefore, the original concept and implications of sustainable development has no control tower for solving the conflict among the three goals. Therefore, I would like to suggest we have to transfer from horizontal perspective to vertical perspective. For example, here environmental should be placed at the top value. Then economic and society, they should be under the control of environment. For example, if the goal of economic development is against to the conservation of nature, then nature, the goal of environmental should control the goal of economy. And also the same, the goal of society should be controlled by the goal of environment. However, economic and society can be placed equally because they are in a process of mutual benefit. So this is a political perspective. So I would like to review such two phases of industrialization. I reached a conclusion that sustainable development, its framework should be transformed from horizontal to vertical perspective. Okay, here on the left side, this is a Titanic, very, very famous film. This is the Noah's Ark in Christian Bible. So in agricultural society, we enjoyed very poor and small boat, Noah's Ark. So economically very, very poor. Everyday life very, very inconvenient. However, we achieved very successfully industrialization. Then we enjoyed high level of material affluence, high level of convenience in everyday life. But it resulted in the exceeding carrying capacity. So what happened? The sunk into. So my conclusion is if we continue enjoying Titanic, our near future in everyday life, during the COVID-19 era, we wear the mask on our mask on our face. But this is not the mask against the COVID-19. This is a gas mask which is used in the war or in the near future. In everyday life, we have to wear such a Western gas mask. So I think we are deserved as much as we have done, okay? However, dog is innocent. Dog also should wear the gas mask, okay? Very, very unlucky. Thank you very much for your kind attention.